Hello guys, I hope you all are doing well today. Welcome to Editor TV. In this video we'll review the game that went down last night at the Brentford Community Stadium where Chelsea dropped 2 points. Full-time score at the Brentford Community Stadium in the EPL round of 4 matches. It finished Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. That simply means Chelsea have failed to defeat Brentford away from home for the 4th consecutive times in a row. But before we take a look at the review of Brentford versus Chelsea match that went down last night, let's take a look at the roundup of results in the English Premier League that was played yesterday, Saturday. Lunchtime kickoff saw Arsenal defeat Nottingham Forest 3-0 at the Emirates Stadium, with Ange Postecoglou in charge as Nottingham Forest's new manager. And the 3 p.m. kickoff saw Bournemouth defeat Brighton and Hove Albion by 2-1 at the Vitality Stadium with goals from Alex Scott and Semenyo. At the Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace played a goalless draw with Sunderland. Also at Goodison Park, it was a goalless draw between Everton Football Club and Aston Villa. At Craven Cottage, Fulham defeated Leeds United by 1-0, and at St James's Park, it was Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. The 6 p.m. kickoff saw Tottenham Hotspur led Thomas Frank defeat West Ham United at the Olympic Stadium by 3-0. And the late kickoff on Saturday, the last kickoff of the day, saw Brentford and Chelsea played a 2-2 draw in that encounter. So that is the match review we are going to be looking at, because it was indeed a really disappointing result for us as Chelsea fans. I mean, I never actually saw that coming. Having struggled from the first half of the game, and in the second half, Chelsea actually came alive. Were able to get the equaliser and got that second goal, but they never actually hold on to the lead which they had, and the game ended 2-2 draw. So, how did Chelsea actually play the game? As usual, in my match preview, like I said, the way Brentford play, they sit deep, they allow you to take control of the ball, they give you the possession, and they are very good at a counter play. And that was exactly what Brentford did in front of their own fan yesterday. So Chelsea started the game with more of possession, but were not able to create any chances. They lacked that cutting edge in the final third of the Brentford defense line. While Brentford, on the other hand, were looking dangerous with long balls on counter play. So, in the 35th minute, Kevin Schade gave Brentford the lead with a long ball from Jordan Anderson, and that got deflected through Tosin Adarabioyo. That was how Brentford United took the lead in the 35th minute, and Chelsea's struggles continue. And that was how the first half of that game ended. It ended Brentford 1, Chelsea 0. Now we'll notice that in the first half of that game, Chelsea were looking so stressed, like someone that have done a lot of job. In fact, they were looking labored. Chelsea lacked clear cutting edge to actually create chances for goal. But Brentford, on the other hand, were looking very disciplined in their defensive play and counter play, and that actually cost Chelsea the problem. So Brentford took the lead at halftime, and it ended first half Brentford 1, Chelsea 0. Coming into the second half of that encounter, Enzo Maresca actually made some couple of changes, and in my opinion, I think those changes were very necessary, because if we look at the first half of the game, Chelsea lacked the cutting edge. We lacked that creativity in the first half. So Enzo Maresca immediately made some couple of changes, made 4 changes. And in those changes, Tariq George came on for Facundo Bonanote. Reece James came on for Wesley Fofana. Jimmy Gittins went off as Cole Palmer came on. And in that game, Marc Cucurella also came on for Jorel Ayew. Now, when these changes were made, when these substitutions were made, we could see clearly the fresh energy and the shift in momentum that the changes actually brought into the game. We could see what the effect of Cole Palmer could actually do in a game. And That actually paid off. In the 61st minute, Cole Palmer got the equaliser for Chelsea. 5 minutes after he was substituted in, Cole Palmer got the equaliser for Chelsea from a Joao Pedro header through a cross by Enzo Fernandez in the box of the Brentford. So Cole Palmer, the ball landed in front of Cole Palmer, and calmly Cole Palmer struck the ball into the net. Chelsea equalized at that point. It was 1-1. And Chelsea continued to press on. And this time, at this point in time, the pressure was more on the Brentford team. Chelsea continued to press on without giving up. And it goes to show the effect of the changes Enzo Maresca actually did early in the second half of that particular game. And in the 79th minute, Enzo Maresca made his final changes in the game, bringing on Alejandro Garnacho. And this time, Joao Pedro was taken off. Alejandro Garnacho had an instant impact on the game. In the 85th minute, Moses Caicedo scored a powerful strike from the edge of the 18 box to give Chelsea the lead. And that comes from the build-up of Alejandro Garnacho. That was an instant impact Garnacho actually had in the game. He came in the 79th minute, and in the 85th minute, precisely 6 minutes later, he had an impact on the game with a build-up play from the left wing side. And that led to the goal of Moses Caicedo. Chelsea lead 2-1 at this point in time. The goal Moses Caicedo actually scored, in my opinion, was just what Chelsea needed and looks like what would have been the winning goal in that particular game. But unfortunately, it wasn't. Chelsea continued play, and this time around, Chelsea were looking like a team that was soaking the pressure instead of trying to see how to keep the Brentford team at bay, not to actually come close with any threat of an attack. But at this point, the Brentford team now looks like we have nothing to lose. Let's go all out, because this is a late-minute goal that Chelsea have actually scored. And indeed, it was a late-minute goal that Chelsea has scored to get the lead through Moses Caicedo. And what was expected of Chelsea? At this point, we should have been disciplined enough to stay back, park the bus, and be able to defend calmly. Because the Brentford Community Stadium have actually been a very difficult ground where Chelsea go to play football. And it shows at the end. In the 93rd minute, Fabio Carvalho got the equalizer for Brentford from a long throw into the box, and Chelsea failed to defend that set piece, and that resulted to a goal. With 6 minutes added time, that goal came at the 90+3 minute, and Brentford leveled up 2-2. So it goes to show that there is still problem with the Chelsea defense line when it comes to how they handle set pieces. It was very, very frustrating. And Brentford maintained their unbeaten run on Chelsea at the Brentford Community Stadium since 2021. The last time Chelsea defeated Brentford at the Brentford Community Stadium was in 2021 under Thomas Tuchel with a narrow 1-0 victory. And since then, in 2022, Chelsea went to Brentford Community Stadium in a league game in 2022. It ended 0-0. In 2024, we played a 2-2 draw. In 2025, in April, talking about the second leg of the Premier League clash in 2024-2025 EPL League season, it ended 0-0. And in 2025, in September, the first leg of the EPL round of match ended 2-2 draw. So Chelsea have failed to defeat Brentford in 4 consecutive EPL League games at the Brentford Community Stadium. So, full-time score at the Brentford Community Stadium, it finished Brentford 2 and Chelsea Football Club 2. Now, there are 3 reasons, in my opinion, where Chelsea actually dropped points in the match against Brentford. The first being that defensive lapse at the very end. Defensive lapse at the very end. Chelsea lacked that defensive cover at the very end, most especially after taking the lead at the 85th minute. We ought to have been very focused and concentrate very well, because we lost concentration at the very end of that match. And secondly, slow start or poor first half. Indeed, the way we started the game, we started very poorly in the first half. The first half of that game was poor, and kudos to Enzo Maresca for making that early substitution in the second half. And that is one thing Chelsea can learn from that game. Early substitution actually gave Chelsea the opportunity to come back into the game quickly and end up getting that second goal, which ordinarily would have been the winning goal, but it ended up not being. And thirdly, possession without the killer edge. We possessed the ball very well in that particular game against Brentford, but we lack the cutting edge to finish up, and we misses lots of chances in that game to actually kill that game. So what are the lessons we actually learned from that particular game? Closing game out is crucial, most especially if you have gotten the lead in the late end of a particular match, and that Chelsea failed to do. So closing game out is very, very crucial. Chelsea should actually learn this. This should be a lesson for us, because going to Brentford, getting a lead at the 85th minute and throwing that lead away at the 93rd minute was very, very uncalled for. It actually shows loss in concentration in the defense line. And secondly, Chelsea needs better preparation on set pieces. So, in my opinion, it was a good game, a draw. Even though we would have expected all 3 points, we ended up coming from behind to get a 2-2 draw in that particular encounter. A win would have been the best for us as a Chelsea fan. Sincerely, I was disappointed with the result. But at the end, it is what it is, because it is football. It is not over until the referee sounds the final whistle. And that is what Chelsea never actually took into consideration when they got that lead. They thought it was over, but the stubborn Brentford side kept pushing out after they conceded that second goal. And indeed, the pressure they mounted on Chelsea through set piece actually paid for them, and the result ended 2-2. So, what do you think happened in that game? Was it bad luck on the side of Chelsea, or Chelsea couldn't defeat Brentford away from home again? Drop your comment down below. And would you also blame the selection Enzo Maresca made in the first half that cost us to drop 2 points? What do you think? Was the selection, the starting 11 that started that game, would you put the blame on Enzo Maresca? Because Enzo Maresca, in his post-match conference, was definitely disappointed in the players for not being able to keep out the Brentford side at the very end when it matters most. So, what do you make of the match between Brentford versus Chelsea at the Brentford Community Stadium that ended 2-2 draw? Drop your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And thank you very much for watching. Catch you in my next video. Bye.